The following is a Northern State podcasting production.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Welcome back to the Fairweather Friends podcast. As always, I'm Veg.
And I am Ricky.
And I never know whether you're going to say it or you're going to wait for me to introduce you. But
It's
unlike
usually-
it, you're on my right.
Yeah.
Unless we go 3/4 of the way around the table.
That's what I was going to say is, well, I'm on a different direction this time.
So Ricky's still technically on my left if you go far enough around the table. That'd be weird, though. Sitting on my right. We're back. Been a while since we've had an episode. Once again, no
wow.
friend. We have made no effort in trying to get guests in a long time. Been distracted by things.
I have a couple friends that want to come on.
Yeah, we just haven't really tried to schedule time with people. So that's on us. Probably because we don't get paid to do it and have jobs and other things going on in our lives.
Mostly, yes.
But what always brings us back is we can always talk sports. And I've been wanting to talk NBA stuff for a while. But we hit the age of player movement like no other.
Yep.
So the NBA, this happened in the craziest offseason. I mean, there was really only one crazy thing that happened.
But it was pretty shocking.
The Paul George trade, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Kawhi choosing the Clippers and you finding out the Paul George trade happening at the same time. That was the only really huge, big thing that happened, other than,
Well, the only reason he picked the Clippers is because they knew that they could get Paul George.
yeah, he was waiting until he knew he could have another star. But the only other thing that made the offseason crazy was that so many all-star level players changed teams.
The Russell Westbrook trade was pretty...
Yeah, but that it wasn't surprising when it happened.
That's true.
Fuck. This laptop is too slow. Oh, it was still recording. Just the screen freezes up. All right, I'm just going to pretend like it's going to keep recording. The Westbrook trade was surprising. Like if you said it before the Paul George trade happened, like if I said, hey, guess what? Westbrook's going to get traded in 2 weeks. You'd be like, no fucking way.
Yeah,
But then once Paul George got traded, everyone's like, oh, Westbrook's probably gone too.
that's true.
Um,
Other than that...
But there's just never been this many great players go change teams in an offseason.
yeah, Kyrie and KD. We didn't even think about that to write it down.
Didn't I write that down?
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote the Nets.
Kyrie and KD, yeah.
I wrote the Nets for them. But, yeah, so then after all this NBA stuff happened, I thought back and I was like, well, actually, in football and baseball, we had some big names change teams too. Not nearly on the level of what happened in the NBA, but these are guys who, well, baseball, they were free agents, all of them. Football, though, most of the big names that move teams forced their ways out, which is kind of what's now just happened in the NBA like crazy.
The LeBron standard.
Yeah, all of a sudden players have the power to tell teams like, hey, you're going to have to move me. And they just have to pretty much.
Started it last year with AD.
Yeah, AD announced he didn't want to be there. I mean, even before that with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And it's happened a few other times. Melo forced his way out of
He's done it twice. That's
Denver.
crazy.
Yeah, Melo forced his way out of Denver.
And New York, basically.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, that wasn't him being free agent and leaving. It was, hey, it's time for us to move on. Even Kevin Love got traded from Minnesota because it was like, hey, you're not winning with me. But, yeah, so I figured we could go back and look at we got the guys in the baseball who we can now have gotten a glimpse of how they've done on their new teams. And then talk NFL, how those guys will fit with their new teams. And then save NBA for last because that's going to be the longest. So if you're listening to this, very, very sports-heavy episode. So I also want to hear about what you think is good for sports. Should it happen in more sports?
I like team turnover. Well, but makes it hard to root for one franchise.
Yeah, I mean, with basketball, I've made it clear, I usually root for a team with the most players I like. Now I don't really know who to root for. Like, KD, I don't really want to root for the Nets and Kyrie. At least this year I won't have to worry about it because his Achilles is toast, so he's going to miss a whole year. And then the Warriors, I got Clay there still, but he's not even going to play for most of the year.
Yeah, he went back to February.
But I'll probably be rooting for them as my favorite team still. But yeah, it makes it harder to know to decide who to root for,
What about Portland?
I just never have had a loyalty to just whoever's the closest team to me.
But did you see his quote for?
Yeah,
That was for Seattle.
it was not for Seattle. Dame, you did it for you. You did it to make the Supermax, which you just made this offseason. But nice shout out. KD's always saying nice things about Seattle. They got other guys from the area that support Seattle a lot. But yeah, I don't have a hometown franchise, so I usually go by players. But laptop's making weird noises. Should we jump into the baseball then? Look at the 3 huge deals that happened. Or do you got anything else you want to talk about first?
James Paxton.
Should we put Paxton on there, change teams? I don't know what he's done. But we had the 3 biggest contracts. I think they're the 3 biggest contracts ever signed in baseball. I think Alex Rodriguez might have had a deal that was on the level of Bryce Harper's. So Bryce Harper got 13 years, $330 million. Machado, 10 years, $300 million. And Mike Trout, 12 years, $426.5 million.
The length of these is insane.
Yeah, it's really the length, because if you think about the per-year basis, the NBA is actually past baseball as far as having the highest paid players.
Yeah, because they only sound like 5-year max.
You get a few, these top paid players in baseball would be somewhere around like 8 to 12 for basketball now.
Mhm.
Like, how many guys are making $35 million plus? And Kawhi and Paul George, I guess, are taking a little less money. But LeBron, Westbrook, making over
CP3.
$40 million. CP3 is going to have some years over $40 million. It's crazy. So
John Wall.
John Wall, the worst contract in basketball. They just said today he's not going to play all year.
Really? Damn.
That they don't expect him to. But yeah, so Bryce Harper. Well, these deals, 13 years, 10 years, and 12 years, like you said, it's crazy. The last 10-year deal we saw was Pujols, right?
That turned out terribly.
Yeah, the Angels were, not the Angels, the Cardinals, who had him during his prime, when they weren't willing to give him that type of deal, they should have told the Angels something.
The Angels even have Mike Trout, and they still can't put anything together.
Yeah, I think the expectation with him was I think the expectation when you sign a deal this long is you're going to get all your money's worth out of them the first 5 or 6 years.
Then they have.
And then just pay them off, in their waning years.
Did they sign Johan Santana to his twilight years, or was that somebody else?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't keep track of baseball that high. But so here are the numbers for, Bryce Harper just got the big deal. He's at batting .258. Which, that's not crazy low, but when someone's getting almost $30 million a year, 17 home runs, which isn't bad. He's on pace to get about 30. They've played about 2/3 of the season. 70 RBIs, so he's on pace to get to 100. But only 1.6 wins above replacement. So it means you could take an average player who you're probably paying $6 million a year,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd only be 1.6 wins worse off putting him in Harper's spot.
Bryce is going to sell tickets, though.
It's true. Bryce won a home run derby last year or the year before.
With his dad pitching.
He's been a top baseball prospect since he was 16, 17. He got drafted right out of high school, went right to the minors, didn't go to college, played half a year in the minors, and they brought him up, right? It was crazy how young. And it was him and the other big prospect that year was, what's his name? He's now on the Cubs. He was on the Braves for his first years.
Hayward?
Yeah. God, I almost said Gordon Hayward.
Jason?
Jason Hayward, which I remember watching his first at bat. He hit a home run.
Yeah,
The next
I
year,
remember that.
his first at bat, he hit another home run. It was weird.
Seemed like he never reached his full potential, though.
No, he
But he
just
did
never
win a
got the
ring.
power because he's a big guy. You expected him to develop power pretty easily because he's 6'4", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Harper's been better than him. Those were the 2 big prospects in that area, but I feel like almost $30 million a year. You expect more than 1.5 wins above an average player. So Machado, who got the 10 years, $300 million, he's batting .268, a little better. 25 home runs, so he's on pace for about 40. Only 66 RBIs, so I think you got to blame the teammates.
Yeah, the pods don't really.
Oh, I guess I should have made sure to mention Bryce Harper. If you're listening at this point, you Phillies Machado by the San Diego Padres. Trout stayed home. Angels gonna spend his whole career for LA probably, especially since they clearly don't really care if they make playoffs. But yeah, Machado batting 268, 25 home runs, 66 RBIs. He's 2.5 wins above replacement. But it's like, you think about basketball. Can you
Machado.
see an NBA franchise paying a guy $30 million a year, which is basically a max, if they only added 2 wins to your team, 2.5 wins to your team
Yeah.
for the year?
Machado has quite a bit of stink on him from last year's playoffs, doesn't
Yeah, he came off as a very poor sportsman.
he? Yeah.
Uh,
Who was he playing on?
didn't,
Dodgers?
yeah, he got
And then
traded
they
to the
got-
Dodgers for the second half of the year. He didn't run balls out.
They got blasted by the Red Sox.
Yeah, and he did something else that was shady. Oh, he basically kicked a first baseman running out. He stepped on the guy's foot intentionally, even though his foot was he was on the base, but still only on a third of it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he tried to basically trip him on his way through to make him drop the ball. Yeah, he came out looking very bad. Plus, they had moved him to third for the Dodgers because they already had a shortstop. And really, that's where he should be. Defensively, he's one of the worst shortstops in baseball. Because when he came into the league, he was skinny and fast, like young A-Rod. And he bulked up, and his range has gone down. He's slower. So he's just a terrible defender, but he'd be good for third base because he's a great glove and a great arm. Just doesn't have the range for shortstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got these guys paying that much money to add 1.5 and 2.5 wins.
Well, for the Padres, they're not doing anything. It's probably just good to get that guy in there.
Do you think anyone is still going? It's San Diego. No one went to see football there. You think they're watching a bad baseball team just because it has Manny Machado?
They're more likely to. And it gives them hope to be able to sign somebody in the future.
Baseball is a lot cheaper of a sport than NFL.
We've been to Petco Park.
We did. We went there. And what's his name was still there. They had the one good pitcher before they got rid of him. I forget his name, but he
They
hasn't
played
really-
against the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, because there was a lot of fuck LA chants. Because this is also when the Lakers-Celtics finals was going on.
Bastards.
So they're doing the fuck LA chant, which is always fun. But then you get to Mike Trout, who is making even way more than these guys are even making. I mean, 12 years, 42.5 million.
He's consensus best player in the league, though.
Yeah, well, so in comparison, he's batting 300, 32 home runs, which is on pace for about 50, 79 RBIs, over 6 wins above replacement.
That's worth it.
And yet his team's still not good enough to make the playoffs. They're not even better than Oakland.
His team's not even good enough, or he's not even good enough to put my fantasy team into contention.
That you think he could carry as a fantasy team because, man, he gets... I don't think he steals bases nearly as much anymore, but he's almost completely cut out strikeouts
I'd had
somehow.
him, and I put in stolen bases by drafting Billy Hamilton and D. Gordon. That completely backfired on me.
Gordon hasn't been that bad. Malik has been really good, though.
Yeah, I should have
He's over 20. He's even though he went to the minors for a while, he's caught up to the league leaders in stolen bases.
Looked good at the beginning of the year. Then it all went to shit.
Deke just can't get on base. He's been hurt a bunch too this year. I don't know. Do you think either the Phillies or Padres are already starting to regret?
No,
Machado statistically, I guess it's probably fine. And then Harper, you're right. His name is one of the biggest names in baseball.
not only that, they stole him from a division opponent.
Yeah, but Washington's still better.
Yeah, that's true. But still,
So I don't know. Baseball's boring.
it's even harder to pay attention to the Mariners.
Yeah, I'm going to one more game this year. Edgar Hall of Fame weekend at T-Mobile. Sunday day game, so it'll be nice. And then that might be the last game I go to
Sad.
this year. I mean, I usually only make it to a few games in the beginning of the year and then I lose interest. Last year I vowed to go if they made the playoffs, but they came up short.
Just barely.
And then we're talking player movement, man. Mariners, everybody's off the team. Anyone who's still good is going to get traded. They're talking Domingo Santana getting traded. Mike Leake, who almost had a perfect game the other day,
Damn.
went into the ninth with a perfect game and then gave up 1 hit and 1 walk.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so he had a complete game shutout, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that trade deadline's coming up, so you can see a lot of trades happening there. But there's just not a lot of huge names in baseball anymore. Most of the big names are the young guys, like
Most
Vlad Guerrero
juniors,
Jr.
yeah. What's
Because
the?
even another dude, his dad played.
There's another
Right?
junior.
Sorensen. No,
Uh,
it was the Mets guy who won the home run derby. Even hit like 40 less home runs than Vlad.
broke his bat over his leg. I forgot his name.
Yeah, but so most of the big names in baseball right now are got young guys, which is good for the game. Hopefully,
Who's the guy on the Smile commercial? The Draymond Green.
Smile commercials.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a baseball
Smile
player.
Direct Club.
I don't know.
He's a junior. I forgot his name. Damn it.
But we can get to NFL. You got big names, but they're also don't seem like stars compared to the NBA. NBA players are stars, even though it's not as popular of a sport. It's just weird.
They have the-
market so much better.
Yeah, the Twitter following and everything.
Twitter, and they've really brought in like R&B and rap. You know,
Drake.
unlike playing NFL, they still use country for like the Sunday night football music. Like it's not a wide fan base thing, and it doesn't market to the young dudes. But so the NFL, we had players do. They kind of took a page out of the NBA playbook of forcing their way out. We had Antonio Brown forced his way out of Pittsburgh. Le'Veon basically did by sitting out all of last year.
Yeah.
Clearly, they weren't going to franchise him again unless they just wanted to be mean and see if he'd sit out a second straight season. Odell Beckham Jr., we didn't hear that he wanted to be traded, but now we're hearing all the interviews post how unhappy he was and all this stuff, and they traded him they got more than Antonio Brown brought in, right?
I think so.
Because they also got a good player. Didn't they get the cornerback from the Browns or something like that?
Yeah, they got somebody. Who was
They
it?
got an actual player and like a first and third round picks or something.
I forgot who that was.
But and then you had a couple guys like Earl Thomas was probably the next biggest name that he went to. Him and Golden Tate both went to the Ravens, so big pickup for the Ravens.
Didn't Golden Tate go to? I thought he went to the Giants.
Oh, did he go to the Giants? What wide receiver went to the Ravens that I'm thinking of? I guess it's not that important. Clearly not that big of a name. There was another person picked up by the Ravens. They had picked up early. They got a running back.
They got
Jordan Howard, right?
no Mark Ingram.
Oh, they got Mark Ingram. That's who, yes. So just some big NFL names go. Change teams. Who do you think's going to be the better fit on their new teams? OBJ, Antonio Brown, or Le'Veon Bell?
The most important or the best fit?
Best fit. Like, who's going to... Like, I worry about Antonio Brown getting passes from Derek Carr, not getting targeted enough, the passes not being in a good place where he can make catch.
They don't really have anybody else. They signed
Well, yeah, that means
Tyrell-
he's probably going to get double covered.
Tyrell Williams or something from San Diego.
Oh, yeah. Skinny, fast guy.
I think OBJ is the best fit, but I think Le'Veon's the most important.
Well, yeah, Le'Veon's going to be the whole Jets offense.
Yeah.
He's going to get 400 touches with them just like he did Pittsburgh. They still got, who's the young receiver? He ended the season well, and he ended the season before well, so I actually thought he would be better fantasy-wise. Anderson. Something Anderson.
Browns?
No, the Jets with Le'Veon.
Oh, Robbie?
Yeah, Robbie Anderson. So the thing with the Browns is they had a number one receiver. They had a number one running back. And yet they went out and got another number one receiver and another number one running back. So this team has Landry. What is his first name? Why am I blanking on his first name? Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry and OBJ, which they're very different. Landry runs more short and intermediate routes. OBJ is the deep guy.
Yeah.
I've heard just Colin Cowherd saying like it's not going to work. There's not enough catches going around. Jarvis Landry gets 90 catches a year. He's not going to give up 40 for OBJ. But we've seen Anquan Bolden and Larry Fitzgerald work well together. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison both put up 1,000-yard seasons together. I'm sure.
Chad and TJ.
Johnson and TJ Hushmanzada, like especially when it's two different style wide receivers, where like Marvin Harrison was the more short, quick routes, very accurate routes, and Reggie Wayne would go deep.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald, Bolden. Actually, Fitzgerald was the outside guy at the time, and Bolden was the slot guy who was a really good route runner.
Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans last year, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've seen teams that can support 1,000 yards, and with OBJ, he doesn't need 90 catches to get 1,000 like Jarvis Landry does. I think his career average per season was 68 catches, and it was like 1,100 yards, and then Jarvis Landry was like 92 catches for just barely over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the stat, but Eli's deep ball completion is like somewhere in the 30%, whereas Baker's is somewhere in the 50s.
Well, I was gonna say too, Baker, especially playing Oklahoma, was a huge high octane offense. He likes to throw deep, so I think he's gonna fall in love with throwing, taking shots to OBJ and not just hitting Jarvis on slants all day and drags.
Yeah,
But they also have David Njoku, second-year tight end, one of the top ceiling tight ends in the league. He's still inconsistent, whatever. But then you got Nick Chubb. Is Nick Chubb the running back, or was that the defensive end?
yeah. Nick Chubb's a good one.
Nick Chubb, who broke out the second half of last year.
They still have Duke Johnson.
They still have Duke Johnson, who wants out because they also got Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense.
there is. But
So what if they're not quite winning and OBJ is not getting his numbers?
that could go. Well, you would think it could go south, but him and Jarvis are so tight that it might.
Him and Jarvis tight, but yeah. I mean, because I saw they put Baker Mayfield as the number 10 ranked quarterback.
Dang.
I don't remember which publication, whatever, they were talking about that. He still had a losing record last year.
Yeah.
He still had like 13 interceptions in 11 games or whatever.
And he lost Joe Thomas. Is that this year or last year?
That was last year. Yeah, he retired before
Yeah.
last year, I think, right? Yeah, because they started showing pictures of him like slimmed way down.
Yeah.
Like he's one of those linemen who like had to like work to stay big, and when he stopped, he just stopped looking like a lineman. But
They got somebody on their defense too, didn't they? Maybe not. No, I think I'm thinking of
I
somebody
don't know.
else.
This would be interesting because I think if they're scoring 30 points a game and winning, even if it's winning 30 to 26 all the time, OBJ will definitely be happy.
Yeah.
Anything winning, he'll be happy. But I just worry if they're not quite winning and he's not getting the targets down the field that he wants. I think maybe Antonio Brown, though, is the bigger risk because the Raiders have been a mess. Turns
Yeah.
out John Gruden, maybe not.
Well, he stacked all those draft picks, and he got
You trade away some of your
Cooper,
best players.
and he traded away Khalil Mack. Obviously, going to be
Yeah.
hard to repair. But he ended up with AB from getting those draft picks, right?
He didn't have to trade very many of them at all for AB. I was surprised. That deal was not much of a deal. It didn't take a lot to get Antonio Brown. OBJ, they got a lot more for. Oh, it was the ex-Michigan player that the Browns got from.
Oh, Peppers?
The Giant. Yeah, is it Julius Peppers the Giants got?
Jabari.
Not Jabari. Yeah, I think they got him. Which he's one of those guys that they still, if they can figure out the right position for him, that guy should be able to play at so many different places. Le'Veon, I think, would be
Jabril,
happy.
not Jabari.
Jabril, thank you. That's like Jabari Parker.
Yeah.
Jabril Peppers. Le'Veon with the Jets, I think he'll be fine because he's going to get his touches.
Yeah, he should. He's in the best position.
Um,
The Sam Darnold is complete garbage, but some people still like.
Earl Thomas, it was surprising that he went to the Ravens.
Should have gone. to the
Everyone thought he
Cowboys.
was going. Yeah, everyone thought perfect match. Cowboys. That's what they needed for their defense.
Cowboys didn't want to spend the money on him though,
He's
which
coming
makes
off a
sense.
broken leg. He's
Yeah.
20. Going to be 29,
They have to pay Cooper, Zeke, and Dak. So
and Zeke's already in another country and may or may not hold out. Did we ever find out what country he went to? I just heard they're like, okay, but can we know? Like, did he just go to Mexico? Because they do that in the off, season all the time, or even on their bye weeks. Like, he's in like Canada or Mexico. It's like,
Can't
okay,
trust
whatever. You're not out of the country. That's not really a big thing. But it doesn't really matter. He says right now he's not going to sit out.
Oh, they had to trade an offensive lineman to New York too, Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah, I just remember that it's kind of like the Paul George deal versus Anthony Davis, where you're like, oh wow, they gave up quite a bit, and then the next guy goes and you're like, oh, they gave up way more to get him. I mean, when you're the last guy on the market, it's like an auction draft in fantasy. That
Yeah.
last top tier player is there. All of a sudden, everyone overpays.
Olivier Vernon from the Giants. as well. That's who I was thinking of on defense.
So they traded a few guys back and forth. Not important. I don't know. There's people that have the Browns as being a Super Bowl favorite.
They should be a division favorite.
I'd like to see them have a winning record first. But the Ravens, like I said, the Ravens, they switched to Lamar Jackson. They're going to open up the offense a little more with him now. He's had a whole offseason. Added Earl Thomas. They added Mark Ingram. And they were the playoff team last year. So why would the Browns pass them? Just because they added OBJ and Kareem Hunt? What else have they added? And a rookie coach. They changed their coach.
They changed their coach.
To a rookie guy who's never coached anything but defense.
Still. Romeo Crennel.
We don't know if that makes them better.
Romeo Crennel? No. Hugh Jackson was terrible.
Yeah, but the guy who took over from Hugh Jackson had a winning record the rest of the year, and they got rid of him.
No, they kept him.
No, and they hired somebody else.
I thought they kept that guy.
No, because that was the defensive coordinator that didn't get along with somebody.
I thought they
and
kept
they immediately let him go.
The interim guy. Freddie something.
No, the interim coach was Williams.
Oh yeah, the dirty guy who put out banners on their Saints.
Yeah.
Can't hire him.
And they
as
got
a
rid of
coach.
him as soon as the season was over. But he had a winning record. He went 5-3.
But they kept the coordinator who was actually.
Yeah, the defensive coordinator. So, I don't know. I think people are anointing the Browns way too early before they've actually done anything.
The team to watch out for next year is the Cowboys.
I mean, they were a playoff team last year, but they didn't really do anything to get better either.
Yeah, they got Randall Cobb. But
they were better at the end of the year when they had Cooper.
Yeah, they're going to have a full year with Cooper.
So if they play like they did the second half of the year, they could be a 11 or 12 win team.
Zach Martin back, Jason Witten back.
Jason Witten, another one. I'm always the one who's like, I want to see something. I'm not going way out on a limb all the time. Like, what's his name in the NBA is the one I was like, screwed, I'm all in on him right away. Why am I blanking on his name? The European dude, rookie. Luka Doncic. Jeez. Can't switch sports like this. I lose names. But Doncic is one of the only guys I was like, I'm all in. But I also saw him playing in EuroLeague against grown men that he was still killing. So, all right. Well, we're already almost 30 minutes in. We haven't even started on the NBA. So this is the one where star players really realize how much power they have.
Well, NFL starts next week. What's your official prediction?
For like Super Bowl?
Your preseason prediction. Because we won't get to do an episode before the season starts.
No. You have to have the. I mean, it's crazy not to have the Patriots in there again.
It improved.
I can't not pick my Seahawks. The thing with the other teams in the NFC is these quarterbacks, the other top quarterbacks are older, and those guys have just continuously faded down the stretch. Breeze got worse, and the Saints' record was not great the last 6 weeks and into the playoffs. Phillip Rivers over in San Diego. Aaron Rodgers hasn't stayed healthy in forever. Eli's not even going to be a starting quarterback all the way through. Matt Ryan, I guess, Atlanta could be pretty good again.
No, he was the number 2 fantasy quarterback last year.
Yeah, Atlanta should be up there. Your Cowboys should be up there somewhere.
What about Cam?
I just have no faith in the Panthers and Cam. They haven't done anything different in years, and yet they just had the one big year where Cam just went crazy, put up college numbers, and they made it to the Super Bowl. And then he fizzled in the moment. They still talk about the fumble that he hesitated on and jumped back away from to avoid getting hit. So I just can't have faith in them. And they started out so good last year with 6-1 or something. We had that bet with Hooper on our 3 teams, and he got way out ahead. Your team was the farthest behind, and then end of the year, our teams ended up with like the same record, right? And
basically
played in the playoffs, and you guys won. But his team ended up
both
just
your teams
falling
beat
apart
mine within the first 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and the team completely switched around. Seahawks pretty much were pretty even the whole year. They're pretty good. Lost a couple of games they shouldn't have lost. Probably won a couple they shouldn't have won, and it evened out, But then, Cowboys and Panthers, you guys started off slow and then got hot and stayed good all the way through, and they started hot and just fizzled after they got torched by the Steelers.
That's pretty much the end of it.
50-12 or something crazy like that.
We were watching Buffalo Wild Wings.
Only one of only like 2 or 3 games we all watched together, and Hooper's team just gets annihilated.
That was a good night though.
Man, when we were at his house though, they almost blew the huge lead to
Yeah.
the Bucks with Fitzpatrick, right?
Yep.
But of course, at the same time, the
during-
Seahawks got torched. So
Fitzpatrick's
yeah, if they hadn't
hot
gotten
streak.
up like 34-3 in the first half, they would have lost that game. Their defense, man, they got one of the best defensive players in football in Kuechly, but it just doesn't seem like their scheme is good or something. They just always teams just seem to figure them out.
they had a few old people that they had to move on from.
I would love a Patriots Seahawks rematch before Brady retires in the Super Bowl. Be great. Who are your picks then?
Shit. Cleveland. No, not Cleveland.
I mean, it'd be fun if they're that good.
It would be fun if they're
I
that
mean,
good.
I'm already sick of
Shit.
Mayfield. I would definitely get really sick of him if they're good.
Fuck. I would go out on a limb and say, since I've been watching King of the Hill nonstop, the Texas special, Houston and Dallas.
Both of them, huh?
Yep. Houston Super Bowl.
It's hard to trust either
Texas
of those
Super Bowl.
teams, but that would be amazing. I want to know, where is the Super Bowl played this year?
I don't know, but the Texans seem like they have the pieces to put it together, but they can never stay healthy. Cowboys are just cursed since the 90s.
I hate
Can't think
predictions.
of.
Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida.
I wouldn't want to say San Diego because it's never San Diego, even though it seems like it should be San Diego.
It never seems to me. I thought they
I
were
mean,
so
Los
overrated
Angeles.
last year. Oh, where it should be.
They should be up there, but they're not going to be.
Oh, the Los Angeles. No, I never had faith in the Chargers, and they made it farther than I thought. They kind of proved me wrong, but then got beat so badly by the Patriots that I felt a little
Steelers.
vindicated.
No one's talking about Big Ben's last ride.
I don't know. I've heard he's got a lot of pressure on him. Heard some people saying this is basically he's got the team he wants now.
Yeah,
He kind of
forced
pushed
everybody out.
He made everyone else hate him who he didn't like playing with, and they still Connor was good. He's gonna be a top fantasy guy.
Oh, Kansas City, duh.
Chiefs, huh?
Yeah,
Even with that, well, I guess Hill, no
I'll take
punishment,
Kansas City.
no Kareem Hunt, but they had their backup running backs were always good when they came in.
Damian Williams averaged 6 catches and 6 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Towards the end of
Andy
last year.
Reid, his running backs always put up numbers. Remember the Westbrook years?
His quarterbacks do too.
Yeah. They always have good offenses. It's their defenses and then usually bad clock management.
The easiest thing.
Maybe you can blame the coach for that. So Kansas City and who?
Kansas City.
Cowboys? You can
Yeah,
say it.
okay, I have to pick Dallas.
It's such a crapshoot. Why not? I mean,
If
there's
not
no reason
Dallas,
to not pick our
then-
favorite teams.
Yeah, if not Dallas, then probably New Orleans. Because I feel like they're going to be on the revenge tour.
No one says the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, apparently they're saying he's got a level of clarity he's never had or something with the offense. I don't
He
know.
fucking should. He's got Diggs and Thielen.
And good running back. Who's the rookie? Well, now third-year running back.
Cook. They lost Latavius Murray, but they signed somebody else.
Yeah, where did Murray go? Does he go to
Saints.
the Saints? Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. All right, should be another fun NFL season.
Hopefully Green Bay sucks again.
I'm going to be working every other Sunday.
I have to work every other Sunday. It sucks. Except I get to watch my phone.
It depends on what I'm doing, but typically I can't watch it for very long.
Can at least have it on in your...
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a ESPN radio app or something.
You can turn on the free game and just listen to it
They
instead.
got TVs in our break rooms now,
Nice.
but I don't know if they're hooked up to cable or anything. They just run like slides about work.
Someone's going to figure out how to manipulate that.
Yeah. Even if you get like a satellite or like one of those cheap antennas, I don't think the main lunchroom probably would be a good spot for it if you put the antenna by the window on the window. The other lunchroom, I don't think it doesn't get internet service, nothing.
Oh, damn. If you get like an Apple TV, you can do screen mirror screen mirroring, where what's playing on your phone is playing on your TV.
Yeah, they got Wi-Fi in there, so you think you should be able to hook something up in there. But so hopefully, even then though, the breaks are 15 and 30 minutes, like
Yeah, so it's not really worth it.
more of a tease. But it'd be nice to be able to see it for a little bit.
Check the highlights.
All right, let's get to the NBA. So many of these teams have new players. We'll try to go through each team that looks like they improved by adding top players. So I mean, I guess like we were talking about before, what was crazy, not that any of the moves are super surprising. In fact, most of them were predicted by one person or another during the regular season. Everybody had KD leaving the Warriors. It was just a question of Knicks, and then the Nets came into the fray during the season, and
The rumor is
clear that Kyrie was going to go there at least.
Yeah, the rumor is once KD got hurt, he lost all his leverage to bring Kyrie to the Knicks, so they decided on the Nets.
I've heard, though, too, that, like Bill Simmons was talking about, the Nets have done a lot more off the basketball court to attract players. Like, they have one of their top investors is one of the guys from Alibaba, which is the biggest company in the world.
Plus, they don't have
People don't know about.
James Dolan kicking people out.
Yeah,
of
no.
games.
You know, they've treated their players a lot better. They've put together teams a lot, more good teams in the last 20 years than the Knicks have, really. Even though they haven't done much better. But
They rebuilt from that the Garnett and Pierce trade pretty quickly though.
yeah, with how many draft picks they gave away to come back out of that, it's so like I said, they put together a playoff team without a superstar. The Knicks haven't done that ever. Ever.
Nope.
But let's start with your favorite team, because that was really the first domino to fall, was the Anthony Davis trade to your Lakers. Yeah, because it didn't happen during the regular season last year, but you guys had to give up basically every asset you have except LeBron.
And Kuzma.
And Kuzma, that's right. Held on to your one young player you held on to was Kuzma, which is probably the best.
It is the
fit
best because he's
along LeBron.
He's also the cheapest because he's a second round pick.
Cheapest. He's an off the ball player. He can play the 3, the 4, maybe small ball 5 if you want to get crazy.
He's a good scorer. He had more 30-point games than Tatum. He had more 40-point.
He's a better catch and shoot guy.
So people think that Tatum's just going to be this awesome player, but they just disregard Kuzma.
And then you fill out the roster with, there's Rondo.
Rondo, who has chemistry with Boogie, who they also signed, and AD already. And he played last year with Bron, so that's pretty good to keep all those guys.
Also added Quinn Cook.
Yeah. Avery Bradley.
That's right. Avery Bradley might be an underrated one. He's been a top two-way player as far as 3-and-D type player, point guard, shooting guard.
Danny Green.
Danny Green coming off championship with the Toronto. So, I mean, it's a lot better looking free agent pickups this year than last year. Last year it was all a bunch of
Beasley and
Lance Stevenson.
Yeah.
And, well, you did bring back the center.
JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee. You did bring him back. So him, Boogie, and AD will be your front court. Can't really complain there.
No. Boogie will probably
stagger Boogie and AD as much as possible and let them play the 4. You guys are going to play a big team. LeBron has talked about playing point guard.
LeBron is starting point guard.
But then you're going to have basically a point guard starting as your 2 guard in either Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook, or Rondo.
Danny Green.
I feel like they'd play more, well, in the starting lineup maybe, because you could do LeBron, Danny Green, Kuzma, AD, and JaVale.
Yeah.
And then you're bringing in your smaller guys off the bench. But, yeah, I don't think Quinn Cook's going to end up getting a lot of minutes. Kind of depends, though, because the more...
They also got somebody else. It was like a 40% 3-point shooter. Forgot his name, though. He's coming from...
You're supposed to be the Lakers fan.
Hey, I knew everybody else.
Is it a foreign guy?
No.
Oh, this is the... Oh, are you talking about Antetokounmpo?
No, they brought back the other guy, too, the balding guy.
Oh, you brought back Caldwell Pope. Alex Caruso?
Alex Caruso, yeah, the balding guy. They got somebody else, though. He's like a corner shooter.
Jared Dudley.
I remember that. He gave up his... He chose
Troy Daniels.
Troy Daniels is who I'm thinking of, I think.
Lance Stevenson is still on the roster.
I'll be damned.
I did not know that. Zach Norvell Jr. You got some weird guys, but Eric Holman.
They only got one rookie this year because they had to trade for him. Some guy from Iowa State. He's only like 18.
Yeah, you got a full roster now, but
It's not
they did try to put a lot of shooting around him. It'll be curious to see how much Rondo plays, if he's the one spelling LeBron
It's not
as your ball handler.
bad. Well, it's not that bad to give up what they gave up.
The question that people are talking about now is if you guys are going to get Andre Iguodala.
Yeah.
And if you did, if that would basically make it hands down the best roster in basketball, no questions asked.
The only problem is the other team that's in the hunt for him is the Clippers.
Is it?
Yeah.
And then he's on Memphis. Memphis, who was originally going to just release him or buy him out or something, and then they were like, "Oh wait,
People
this is a
want
very
this guy."
sought-out guy by playoff teams because he's a great defender, can hit the open three when it's
Proven winner.
and he's versatile, can play multiple positions on offense and defense, and yeah, he's
I'd love if he went to the Lakers because Simmons wants to have him on a Ringer podcast. So you'd have to
Yeah.
have it. That'd be great.
that's right. Simmons, one way or another, he's recruiting him to do a podcast, talking about whatever he wants.
If they keep the JJ podcast, that'll be good with all the young guys. Zion and
Oh yeah,
So-
the team he's on now. But let's talk about the other LA team, the Clippers. Down the freeway, I don't really know what they're. They share a stadium, so you can't really say down the road.
down the hallway.
So you could have an all LA Western Conference Finals this year, all home games,
That'd be crazy.
and that would be a huge advantage for whichever team won and went to the finals, not having all the traveling the previous 2-3 weeks. But so the Clippers got Kawhi by trading. They traded their best young player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Gildress.
They traded 5 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps.
And Danilo Gallinari.
And Danilo Gallinari, who's a 20-plus a game scorer, proven
Borderline
guy
all-star
when
last
he's
year.
healthy. Huh?
Borderline All-Star last year.
Yeah. All for Paul George. So that
Who's-
Kawhi Leonard would choose them. So they still have,
PG's coming off double shoulder surgery.
2 shoulder
Shouldn't-
surgeries.
He's probably not going to be ready for the beginning of the year.
Kawhi hasn't played a full season in 3 years.
Yeah, Kawhi's going to have to be load managed, so I don't see how they're...
But they still have around them Patrick Beverly and Lou Williams, Landry Shamet, Maurice Harkless, Montrezl Harrell, Ivica Zubac, which I'm surprised he's listed as the starting center.
Yeah, they got him for nothing from the Lakers last year.
But he's like a second-year, third season. Okay, so he'll be in his third season, averages 8.9 points, 6.1 rebounds. But he's barely played any minutes. So his 8.9 points on 17.6 minutes. So his a point every 2 minutes.
Good old Zubac. Never understood why we got rid of him.
Yeah, 6 rebounds in 17 minutes. So if he actually averaged, 32 minutes a game, he'd be looking at 15 points, 12 rebounds a game with a couple assists and a couple blocks. So this is the team people are saying right now is the favorite with the 2 new superstars and then what was already a playoff roster. So that's what they're getting credit for but it really wasn't. So most of last year they had Tobias Harris until the trade deadline. Yeah, and they traded around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari. So that's 3 of the best 8 players.
Lou Williams.
But yeah, so they still have Patrick Beverly, who's a defense specialist, can hit the open 3. Lou Williams, a scorer off the bench. Landry Shamet coming off the bench. Maurice
Never
Harkless,
understood why the
Jamaica
Lakers got
Green.
rid of him. They signed him from Toronto, and then they traded him to Houston because he wanted to play for a winner.
Yeah, and then Houston just let him walk, and he signed with the Clippers. You afraid they're going to steal LA?
I don't think so. They have the actual homegrown LA guys. It's like the blue collar versus the white collar. Because Paul George
Yeah, the
and
Lakers just bought their team.
Paul George and Kawhi,
The Clippers built it and then brought in 2 expensive guys.
well, but they're hometown guys.
But the big thing was Paul George was only about to start his second year on the new deal.
And he was so happy to play with Westbrook.
5-year deal and then pushes his way out. So it's one thing we've had guys who, like AD, started trying to push his way out during the second to last year of his deal. So it would have been a 1.5 year rental for somebody else. Instead, he got traded in the offseason, so he's got 1 year left on that deal. Has not confirmed, has not even said that he would definitely come back to Lakers. He just said that he could see potentially going to the Bulls, his hometown team.
I think so.
I think it was the Bulls. He's like, I could see that. So if he leaves, LeBron only has 1 more year on his deal before he can opt out.
People are
You guys
saying
could
that's
end up
just
have pay.
the LeBron strategy to keep the front office in check.
Yeah, well, that's how he used to do the 1-on-1s.
Yeah.
KD did the same thing in Golden State. But, man, there's a chance this whole LeBron thing could just not work out at all. And it could just be 3 more years of not being good.
That would be terrible.
I mean, him
Except
and AD,
the one good thing that it would do is it would solidify Kobe in every Laker fan mind.
you kind of have to.
Not that he's not already, but
And then most of these big names stayed in the West or moved from the East to the West. So you had Kawhi in these first 2 teams, came from East to West. AD just came from a non-playoff team to a...
they were a playoff team. His last year, they
His
swept.
last year they
this
were.
is-
But
they
they
swept
weren't gonna
Portland.
be. They weren't going to be last year, even if they weren't on pace to be a playoff team even before they started resting him.
He had like some of the best numbers before he sat out last year.
Yeah, he was averaging 30 and 12.
I don't get
Or
why-
26 and 12.
That's like the biggest basketball injustice. The only reason they got the first pick is because AD was sitting out because they didn't want to play him because they thought he wanted to get traded.
Well, because he wasn't going to re-sign with them. So
Yeah.
what's the point in them risking their asset? Like the team shouldn't be forced to do that when
Yeah,
they
they
know a
should.
player doesn't want to be there.
They should be forced to be competitive. If they have a player under contract, he should be.
They're trying to
forced
be
play.
competitive. Their best player doesn't want to play.
He should be forced to play.
Yeah, but you end up hurting the team if he gets hurt.
That's true.
It doesn't. Look at Durant. His value did not get hurt by tearing his ACL
Nope. His Achilles.
or his Achilles. Yeah, but if Anthony Davis had gotten hurt, there goes his trade value. They basically just have to hang on to him until he becomes a free agent and lose him for nothing.
Still,
Like,
if you have a player
it's
under
one thing to
contract and he's
sign-
healthy, he should be playing.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't blame the team for sitting, for protecting their asset when they know that's their only way of getting something for it.
Yeah, it is a basketball injustice.
So it's just a shitty situation. But that's what's been happening, as we're talking about with George. Like players are forcing their way out of teams in the middle of deals.
Pre-agency.
And that's what a lot of the older generation really hates. I think our generation has kind of just found it as an entertaining soap opera.
It's very entertaining.
But yeah, like you said, Bill Simmons coined that term pre-agency.
Jalen Rose.
He gave it to Jalen. He gave it to him. It was like when Jalen returned to when he went on Jalen's show or something. I don't remember, but I remember him being like,
I'm going to give this to you.
yeah, I'm going to tell you this, and right now I'm going to tell you can use it. But yeah, guys are looking at where they want to go 2-3 years in advance before their deal's up. And then
The AAU.
because now they're talking about all the way down to high school.
Yeah.
A couple of other top high school prospects went to play at the school with LeBron and D-Wade's kids.
Zaire, right?
Yeah, Zaire Wade, little
Bronny
LeBron,
James.
Bronny, yeah. But they've got a couple like junior and senior year prospects who transferred to that high school now too,
Must be nice.
because they're going to get attention there.
Yeah.
This team might not even be any better, although I guess historically that team, high school, has a really good team. But those kids are now going to get a lot more attention because people are going to be coming to watch LeBron and D-Wade's kids. So, yeah, they're doing it in high school. They're doing AAU. They all play together now.
There's been reports that like they play so much AAU ball, they're playing multiple times a week that it's burning out the kids before they get to the league.
They'll play multiple games in a day.
That's the one of the theories why Kobe had the longevity that he did, because he was in Italy.
I was hearing
during
that, yeah.
AAU years, and he didn't put all his miles on his body.
But look at LeBron did,
Yeah,
and now he's playing in his year 35 year,
and he's fucking,
pretty much still at his peak.
yeah, he's a beast.
He can't do it on both ends like he did when he was younger.
Doesn't have
But-
the energy.
It's crazy. All right, so because of that Clippers trade with Paul George, the Thunder went into... It's not even a rebuild mode. It's a weird thing, though.
They're
But they
still-
decided that it's the perfect time to move on from Westbrook also. Him and the team decided that's good.
Westbrook had been there for the team's entire existence.
Apparently, when they tried to trade Paul George and Westbrook together to Toronto,
Yeah,
but Toronto didn't want to do it.
they didn't want to give up Spicy P.
I don't know if they were convinced that Kawhi would still come back, and then they'd be stuck with those two contracts.
Yeah,
If Kawhi did come back, then
And they
you'd have
would
had a
have-
big three that would have been...
they would lose Siakam, and then they'd be in danger of losing both those guys.
Siakam's
whenever
one of their only young players. And then him and Van Vliet,
everybody,
everyone else is old and on their last year of their deal.
Yep, except they just re-signed Gasol.
No, he opted in for one more year.
Yeah, but they just gave him a contract.
They gave him an extension?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw that he opted in for $25 million. I thought that was his last year. But either way, the Toronto thought about Westbrook. Then when Thunder traded George and it became clear they want to trade Westbrook too, the only two teams it sounds like were interested was the Rockets and the Heat. The Heat weren't willing to pay the price.
He are still in the bidding though, trying to get him from.
I was still surprised though that on top of trading Chris Paul, the Rockets had to give up 2 first-round picks.
Westbrook is a better player right now though.
He's a better player and he's younger. The deal is just as bad and it's 1 year longer.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to play a very different style. Not
Yeah.
I mean a hugely different style, but a little different.
Yeah, they got D'Antoni.
So I thought about it though, like a rotation. I think what you do is you start them together. 4 minutes into the first quarter is when you pull Westbrook. Then you let Harden go to like the 10-minute mark with the starters. I think you bring Westbrook back in at so you sit him from 4 to 8. So you bring him back in at 8. So then they have another 2-minute overlap. And then you let Harden sit the last 2 minutes of the first quarter, first 2 minutes of the second quarter. Because then you get that one long. I don't think Westbrook needs one long break. I think that's better for Harden to recoup. Westbrook is fresh again in 30 seconds. So you have him kind of come in and out. So he's always in there with the second unit, and you limit their overlapping period. So where you could basically have Harden playing. Well, you want to keep him under 20 minutes, so you don't play him the full. Maybe the second quarter you don't bring him in until there's 8 minutes left. That way he's playing about 35 minutes a game. And Westbrook would play about 32 minutes, but then they would stagger. But if you get Westbrook playing off the ball, imagine having to chase Westbrook around like they do Clay. Even if he's not going to shoot threes, you have to chase him so that he doesn't catch a backdoor pass and just dunk on everybody. But then they have basically their same team. They still have got P.J. Tucker. They still got Eric Gordon. I almost said Bledsoe.
Bledsoe's the bad one.
Yeah. They're very polar opposite players. Bledsoe can drive and pass and defend, and Eric Gordon can actually hit threes and
I guess Bledsoe's
move around off the ball.
He just disappeared during the playoffs, and the Bucks gave him that insane contract.
It wasn't insane though. It wasn't $18 million a year.
It was a lot.
Was it more than that? It was a $70 million for 3 years. Something
Is
like
the
that.
reason
Was
why
that what
they-
it was?
I think it was the reason why they couldn't keep Brogdon.
Oh yeah, which I think in this NBA you have to put your money on the guy who's a better 3-point shooter, especially if most of the rest of their skills are the same. Then who's Capella? They still got Capella. They don't really have much of a bench though, right?
him. I don't think they have Nene anymore. Who else did they have last year?
I don't
They're
remember.
my
They
least
didn't do
favorite
very
team,
good.
so I never pay attention to them.
Yeah, they're not fun to watch. They obviously can't play where Harden dribbles for 23 seconds and takes a step back 3. That can't be the offense if Westbrook's on the floor.
But D'Antoni's never going to win anything. He's
No.
not going to make any adjustments.
No, it's funny because now he says he didn't go far enough with the 7-second or less offense with the
Yeah.
Suns. He said, we didn't go far enough. We just should have been shooting more
4
threes.
seconds are left. They should have been. Nash was a beast.
Yeah, but the rest of the team was built around, like I said, speed and athleticism. Sean Marion had the weirdest 3-point shot of all time.
That's true. Barbosa wasn't really that much of a 3-point shooter either. Hey.
Gotta do some Snapchatting mid-podcast. So they should still be among the favorites in the West because of the continuity. That's one thing that they're starting to talk about is there's some people who are like, you know what? I like the Nuggets and the Trailblazers and the fact that they didn't gain or lose any big time players. They made little moves and added on to the core that they've built around.
Yeah.
Portland added nobody, right? No, that was Hassan Whiteside.
Which could either be a piece to trade, an expiring contract to trade, or he might.
And they're going to get Nurkic back, who they didn't have in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
They used Cantor instead. So
They lost Cantor. They lost.
Hassan instead of Cantor.
They traded Evan.
Oh, yeah, Evan Turner's finally gone. I've heard from Portland Trailblazers fans they've not enjoyed that
Yeah.
contract because he got way overpaid.
They traded Miles Leonard, too. Who had that one game where he had 20 points in the first half or whatever he did? In the playoffs. It was against Golden State, so it was meaningless. But
And then you have the Nuggets who added Jeremy Grant from the Thunder, which was a money-saving move. They're trying to get under the salary, the cap.
People
They were
are saying
paying
that's
Royal.
the move of the summer, which I think
I
is
never
fucking stupid.
I always liked him as a player because he actually hits above average threes,
Yeah.
and he's like 6'10", can defend the 4 and the 5 and the 3. He can catch alley. But I never realized that other people notice him. I noticed because I'd watch Thunder once in a while and see how him, Westbrook and George were doing.
I think it's mostly because I listen to Simmons, and Simmons hates the Lakers and won't admit that they're ever doing anything right. So he's like, oh, yeah, Jeremy Grant, great signing.
Well, it's because of what they were doing. They already had – they spent a bunch of money on
They gave Jamal Murray a ridiculous
Murray.
contract.
Yeah, you've got the Joker. They already had their big 3 because they also have
Millsap.
Yeah, that's not who I was thinking of. They have another wing player, Harris or something like that.
Gary Harris Jr.
Gary Harris Jr., thank you.
They brought Millsap back for that ridiculous contract, too.
Did they bring him back?
Yeah. I thought that they would cut ties. Should have gone after Horford.
Yeah, Jeremy Grant was just a good, piece. He's super versatile. It's just a really good guy to have as your 7th, 8th best player.
Yeah.
And most teams don't want to spend the money that those guys deserve. It's the worst place to be is someone who's going to play 10 to 15 minutes a game.
Play hard.
And so really you deserve somewhere in the 8 to 12 million range at least.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're a potential 6-man type guy, that goes up to 18 million. And those are exactly the type of guys nobody wants to sign. They either want to have a max guy or guys on a super low deal. We still have yet to get to see Michael Porter Jr. on the Nuggets. If he
didn't even play Summer League.
Yeah, there's still this kid hasn't been healthy since middle school. And
But
yet somebody's been a top prospect.
We have to ride for him because he's from Seattle.
Is he from Seattle?
Yeah. I think he's
Yeah, but he
Beach.
also backed out of going to Wazoo.
You didn't play. He played 3 games. And
We didn't know that, and he didn't know that was going to happen. He was coming to Wazoo, then the coach changed or something, and he's like, no, I'll still come, and then he's like, oh, I'm just joking.
He went to somewhere shitty like Missouri State.
Yeah, and his brother did really good. I don't know why he didn't get drafted high. His brother was good in college and actually played. But there's some of these guys that ride for these teams that, like I said, Portland and Denver, and the Rockets, who are mostly the same as they were last year, and they, not a complete retool, like the Lakers, who only have, well, I guess they have more back than it seemed like because they re-signed them as free agents, like Rondo and those guys. Tavius Caldwell-Pope, why did they sign him again? Why do they keep signing that guy?
They gave him $20 million.
This year, $20 million? No, I thought he was way down. It was $20 million a different year.
No, they gave him just as much this year for some reason. It happened the same day that Kawhi went to the Clippers, and everybody laughed at us.
Yeah, why? He never has done anything worth getting paid what he does.
Nope.
Damn it.
I remember Simmons and House were they're going to change their abbreviation to be KCP, see if they get some money.
And then the West continued to change. The Thunder, I guess we should talk about them because they've traded away George and Westbrook, but they brought in. They got, for one, in those 2 deals, they got 7 first-round draft picks and 3 draft swaps. No, 4 draft swaps? 4 pick swaps. 2, I think, in each deal.
Part of the reason they don't want to trade Chris Paul to Miami is because they hold Miami's picks and they want to make Miami better and make those picks worse.
That would make sense. You should think about that. But they got back, like I said, Chris Paul, who was another potential trade piece, or they could let him play out the year. They got back Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and
him and
Danilo
Chris Paul
Gallinari
on
that
the
we
same
talked
team is
about.
kind of counterproductive.
Shea and Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they made the trade to get Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, they hadn't done the Westbrook one yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was but I guess it's kind of the same situation. He's going to be basically your backup point guard. You'll play them together a little bit.
But you have to give CP3 his minutes. Unless he
No,
sits
Caldwell
out.
Pope's only getting just over $8 million a year now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's 2 years for $16.5 million. But
Yeah, that's almost
a few
funny.
years ago they were paying him $18 million a year.
To be the spy for LeBron and Clutch Sports.
Yeah, they paid him $18 million a year, and then the next year was 12, and now they're down to 8. And it's oh yeah, because he doesn't do very much. He comes in and shoots threes and plays a little bit of defense. But, yeah, so Thunder are an interesting team because they still have the Chris Paul trade. But if you think about that roster, it's not a bad roster. Like, with Chris Paul, I think they would be fighting for a playoff spot. Because you're looking at starting Chris Paul with Danilo
Roberson ever gonna come
Gallinari.
back?
Yeah, Roberson's back, getting paid way too much. So let's see what they put in on ESPN for their potential starting lineup, which I don't think this is how it would be. But Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Terrence Ferguson, who was a little disappointing last year. They had higher hopes for him. Danilo Gallinari at the 4, Steven Adams at the 5. Coming off the bench, you've got Dennis Schroeder and Nerlens Noel. Hamidou Diallo actually I saw him a little bit. I don't know what they have him listed as the second shooting guard ahead of Andre Roberson. I don't think that would be true. Patrick Patterson actually did a little better last year. I don't know. I think that's actually a potential 8th seed.
Could be like
in the
Clippers last
fight.
year.
Yeah, and if they trade Chris Paul, like I said, it's mostly the draft picks. Holy cow. Because they also got a first-round draft pick for the Jeremy Grant trade.
Damn.
So they literally added 8 first-round draft picks over the next, 6-7 years from these trades this offseason. And yet you still have, if they decide to completely tank, Steven Adams is hard to trade because I think he's at $25 million a year.
Mhm.
They got the Chris Paul potential trade for a team looking to make playoffs, or Danilo Gallinari. Any of those 3 guys would bring back young assets.
Mhm.
I think their best bet is to try to trade Chris Paul and hand the keys to Shai.
Yep.
But you need to
Go
add
for
some
the
three-point
future.
shooting for him
Hmm.
because they got rid of all their three-point shooters.
They can sign J.R. Smith.
Keep Danilo Gallinari, sign J.R. Smith because Roberson can't shoot threes. Ferguson wasn't as good as they thought he would be coming from college. Patrick Patterson hasn't been as good as they thought he was going to be when he came in the Paul George trade.
He came from Paul George.
I think he came in the Paul George trade, or it was a different trade.
Did he play in Toronto?
At one point, maybe?
Huh.
It was a weird 3-team trade, so they're kind of like the losers in all these trades, but also could in 3 years probably look like the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if Paul George and Westbrook can't stay healthy. But then the former Western Conference champs, Warriors, had to watch Kevin Durant walk away, though they made it a sign and trade thing and got an Eastern Conference All-Star. Got to make sure you say Eastern Conference because that means 30th best player maybe.
Yeah, he wouldn't make it in the West.
In D'Angelo Russell.
They also had to give up picks because KD didn't want his name to be traded straight up for D'Angelo Russell. So he made the Warriors give up picks to make it look like more.
The Warriors gave up picks or the Nets did?
The Warriors did.
Weird.
Yeah, because KD didn't want to be traded straight up for D'Angelo Russell because he thinks he's a tier above.
Well, he is a tier above.
Yeah.
Or
so.
2 tiers above. But all right. But so then, the Warriors, they also traded away Andre Iguodala to Memphis. Sean Livingston's retiring.
They just
They
straight
managed to
cut
bring
him.
back Kevin Looney. They still got Draymond. Clay's going to be hurt till at least the All-Star break. His ACL.
Yeah.
God, who else is on their depth chart here?
Swedish Larry Bird.
Swedish Larry Bird, I think.
They lost Boogie.
No, they don't have Jerebko anymore. So you got potential starting lineup here of Steph Curry, D'Angelo Russell, Alfonso McKinney, who got playoff, experience, Draymond Green, and Willie Cauley-Stein. I don't know why they had. They got Kevin Looney listed as a power forward, so they have him behind Draymond. He's obviously going to start at center for them. Yeah, Alec Burks, an underrated 3-point shooter in this league. They picked up Glenn Robinson III. He had a little bit of a run with the Knicks, right?
New York, yeah.
Jacob Evans. Oh, not who I was
CJ
thinking
Woolley,
of.
high school wrestler.
Yep. He's somehow converted to a shooting guard or small forward in the NBA.
Pretty sure he died.
But yeah, you take this roster. So most people think that D'Angelo Russell is going to be a trade candidate during the year for the trade deadline. But why? Let D'Angelo Russell be your ball handler and let Curry play off the ball. That's when he's the best. You have another ball handler other than just Draymond being your main distributor.
He's a good scorer.
And then even when Clay
He's
comes
not-
back, that would be a small backcourt
The thing is,
playing the three of them.
Russell doesn't go to the line ever.
It's a young guy thing. I think that for sure you see a lot of the young point guards don't add that to their game till later. But I don't see any reason they shouldn't still be a playoff team and then a contender if Clay can come back
Depends on Steph.
and get to 70-80%.
And Draymond, too, because Draymond clearly had another level that he went to in the playoffs.
Draymond has a chance here. He's on a contract year, and he gets to be the second best player on the Warriors during the regular season. Like
He's
the
got a
hands
ball.
down second best player.
Yeah.
Who has to do the most because he's their best defensive player. He's the defensive communicator. He's their best distributor. He averages more assists a game than Steph every year. Yeah, he has a chance to make a lot of money. I don't see any reason they should trade D'Angelo Russell because what are they going to get back that's going to help them more this year?
Probably none.
And what would you get for him that helps you in future years?
Probably none.
I'm trying to think of like non-playoff teams who have shooters they'd be willing to trade because that's what the Warriors are going to want: small forwards and power forwards who can shoot threes.
Mm-hmm.
They've never gone to getting a center who shoots threes.
They should.
They're the big 3-point shooting team when really it's the Rockets, but they're not the team that ever builds their offense around a center who spreads out. I guess it's because they don't have penetrators.
Yeah, that's true.
Curry does once in a while, gets that little sneak
Right.
by lay-in.
His 15-foot layups.
Where, yeah, he doesn't even really jump. He just kind of tosses it up. None of their offense has ever been built on a ball handler penetrating the paint off pick and roll or anything. Even when they do pick and roll, usually the ball handler stays outside the three-point line, and it just starts a rotation.
They're all about movement.
Yeah. But I think people are sleeping on them. I already see them as people thinking they might not make the playoffs because you're looking at the top teams being, like we said, the Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Nuggets, Trailblazers,
It's 5. There's 3 left.
Utah. We didn't talk about Utah yet. As like the definitely going to make it. And then you're going to have like the Spurs fighting for it. And they're always there. They made it again. They've done like 19 years in a row or something.
Yeah.
So
And they got Duncan as an assistant coach now.
Duncan. And then what's her name? Becky
Hammond.
Hammond. That's going to be that's got to be a fun coaching staff. Yeah. So that's only, I think, Western Conference team we have left to talk about was Utah, who added Mike Conley.
Plus, there's Dallas and the Pels.
Oh yeah, I guess Dallas added
Porzingis.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
But I guess that was in the middle of the last season,
He didn't play, though.
and yeah, he hasn't gotten to play. Though they said if they were in contention at the end of the year, he could have played.
Mm-hmm.
But they say that about a lot of guys, and then they don't play for months, and you're like, if they could have played like months ago, why are they still not playing? But Dallas will be fun. I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think they have enough else around those guys. I hoped that they would be a destination for like an all-star type player. Didn't get there. Like their point guards listed as DeLon Wright. You know, they got Tim Hardaway Jr., Dwight Powell at center, Maxi Kleber's backup, Seth Curry's still there, Jalen Brunson back at point guard should be good.
They just signed Seth.
They
Curry.
are the ones who have Justin Jackson, who was for some reason listed on the depth chart in front of Courtney Lee. That's ridiculous. Here's the other Antetokounmpo. I knew there was another one. Costas.
No, that's who the Lakers just got.
Oh, he's listed on their depth chart, but then you click on him and it says Los Angeles Lakers
Yeah.
power forward.
They just got him.
Whoops.
They just signed Seth Curry. Seth Curry was in Portland last year.
Yeah, and he actually played some serious minutes for Portland.
Mm-hmm.
He had that one game where he
Against Steph.
had some good moments against Steph. He still didn't outplay him or anything. But yeah, Utah got Conley in a trade. They also got Brogdon Bogdanovic. We believe that's the right one, right?
Bojan.
Bojan?
Something like
Is
that.
that it?
They lost Favors and Rubio, but they replaced him with Conley. And
There's so many of these intent.
they got somebody else, didn't they?
They probably did.
Maybe not. I think it's just Bogdanovic and
But they were, what, a
Conley.
5 seed last year? and they basically traded out Conley for what's his name?
Rubio for Conley.
Yeah. Conley's a better 3-point shooter, but the dude hasn't been healthy in years.
He played a lot last year.
But Brogdon's not or Bojan Bogdanovic, he's not a ball handler, he's a power forward. I'm mixing him up with Brogdon. So they're looking at a starting lineup of Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Rudy Gobert. They've got on the bench Emmanuel Mudiay, Royce O'Neal, Jeff Green, Ed Davis, who I just saw some stat the other day about he had like second most rebounds per minute or something. He just doesn't play a ton of minutes. But he actually, when he's in there, he gets most of the rebounds. I don't know. It's hard to trust them. I thought they were overrated that first year they beat the Thunder in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Last year they didn't.
They still have Amanda Moody and Dante Exum, who most...
They made it to the second round last year, didn't they?
2 years ago, I know they beat the Thunder, made it to the second round. This past year, I don't think they did.
It must not have.
Because in the second round, Portland played the Warriors.
Must have been Portland.
Or no,
played?
Houston, sorry.
No,
Houston
they
played
did
the
play
Warriors.
Houston.
And Portland played...
Houston played Utah first round, and Houston just destroyed them.
In the first round? Was that the 4-5 matchup?
I think so.
Either way. I don't see them being a huge improvement with Conley, but we'll see. He supposedly does a lot of other things well and is a really good teammate. But their depth, I don't like their depth. In the East, the top team didn't do anything, the Bucks. All they did was lose Bogdanovich and Malcolm Brogdon. They did hold on to Brook. Huh?
They lost Brogdon. Not Bogdanovich. He was on Indy, I think.
Bogdanovich was on Indiana?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to believe it because I'm not looking it up. They lost Brogdon. They did hold on to Brook Lopez and brought in Robin Lopez, his twin brother. So that'll be fun. And you can play those guys at the same time. They play completely different.
Yeah, they do.
Robin is the banger
Scrappy.
down low,
Yeah.
rebounds, defense.
Brook is the shooter.
Yeah, Brooks, the biggest criticism against him was always that he didn't get rebounds. And then, he developed he was always a mid-range shooter, and he pushed it out to the three-point line this last year.
And he still has a low post game.
Yeah, he's got moves. He always was good offensively down low. Defensively on rebounds, he was just kind of a weenie. They didn't really do anything else. No real additions. Maybe their draft was good and those guys will contribute, but not likely. The team in the East that did the most, I guess, would be the 76ers. I mean, during the year they traded for Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. Their starting lineup going into the playoffs had played a total of... I knew the Bucks had another Antetokounmpo. Thanasis. I knew there was another Antetokounmpo in the NBA. Thanasis, who's been there for a while, he has stats from the 2015-16 season. Why is that listed there? That's weird.
He must be playing in Europe, and they just have his rights.
It's possible. It looks like he played over here a few games. But, 76ers, so they had traded for Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. They let Jimmy Butler walk. They gave Tobias Harris a max contract. Supposedly they agreed with Tobias that he was underutilized last year. They showed him he was like 65th in the league as far as like usage.
Damn.
Or bottom 65%, or I don't know. It was
There's not much you can do with Jimmy Butler on your team.
Jimmy Butler. Yeah, he's not great for morale. Oh, the Bucks did add Kyle Korver, and they brought back Ersan Ilyasova, who he was a big part of their playoff. Or no, he was part of the 76ers playoff run 2 years ago.
Ilyasova.
So you got coming off the bench. I mean, this sounds almost like a starting lineup of like that could beat the Suns. George Hill, Pat Connaughton, Kyle Korver, Ersan Ilyasova, and Robin Lopez. And they got Dante DiVincenzo down on the third string. So I mean, it's a deep team, but a lot of questions about whether you can really win with Eric Bledsoe, like whether he can really stay on the court in the playoffs. It was just terrible last year. They added Wesley Matthews too. From I don't know where he got traded from Dallas. He must have come on a new deal here. So they're looking at Eric Bledsoe, Wesley Matthews, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. Your starting five. It does not sound like a 60-win team and the top team in the East.
Giannis still has another level to go to.
He already started at least taking the threes.
Jump shot.
If he can start making them more. But yeah, 76ers let Jimmy Butler and J.J. Redick walk. They paid a bunch of money to Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. Oops, I like depth chart better. It's easier to look at. They also have... they got Josh Richardson because it was a sign and trade with Jimmy
Miami.
Butler. Yeah, and they got Josh Richardson, who most people are saying as a shooting guard, at least right now, he's better, an upgrade from J.J. Redick, mostly because of defense.
Mm-hmm.
Zaire Smith wasn't healthy last year because they poisoned him. They fed him something he was allergic to, right?
That's
They didn't know, they weren't aware, something like that, and he ended missing the whole year.
crazy.
They also got Mike Scott, but yeah, their bench, man. James Ennis, Mike Scott, Kyle O'Quinn, Shake Milton. Once again, still not a deep team. And that was what killed them in the playoffs last year. I mean, they had to play guys so hard. Joel Embiid was questionable all the time. Oh, yeah, and then I didn't mention they added Al Horford. So Al Horford decided to opt out the Celtics. Most people assumed he was just going to sign a new 3-4 year deal with them. And then all of a sudden, from what I've heard in interviews, he did not expect the interest he got. And then once he saw the interest and the options, he was like, oh, yeah, I want to go play for the 76ers.
Yeah, why battle against Embiid whenever you can team up with him?
Well, and the 76ers have to be super happy about that because Horford has had the most success guarding Embiid in the NBA. And so now they don't have to ever worry about that. You can probably cut Embiid's minutes or, keep him rested throughout the year a little more by having Horford, playing the 5 instead of the 4.
That's one thing I heard Horford doesn't want to do is play the 5, but you got to accept it.
I don't know who else. I mean, the only other center they have listed is Kyle O'Quinn, who, not the most impressive guy. I'm sure they'll make some other sort of move. We're gonna have a lot of guys who are bought out.
Yeah.
They also have to wait till December to trade anyone who was signed this offseason. That was why a lot of people were talking about certain trades not being able to happen, and there was confusion there. Speaking of Horford, Celtics lost Horford, lost Kyrie, signed Kemba Walker, and signed Enes Kanter. Supposedly that was their plan A. I'm assuming it was I honestly believe that there was their plan A, but it was their plan A assuming Horford was still going to be there.
Yeah.
You didn't really want Kanter to be your starting center.
He showed out in the playoffs a little bit last year with his defense.
In the one series, and then in the Warrior series, he couldn't stay on the court.
Yeah, he was fasting and he was hurt.
He was with
It's
the fasting
not
thing.
a good combination.
But yeah, so now the Celtics are looking at Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Enes Kanter, which does not sound like a great defensive starting lineup for me. Kemba's a smaller point guard, so he's always going to have trouble defending other point guards because of that. Enes has never been able to guard anyone. Coming off the bench, you got Marcus Smart, great defender. But then you got Daniel Theis and Robert Williams III as your front court guys. Semi Ojeleye?
Ojeleye,
He's listed as their third string
he
small
was hurt all
forward.
last year. He's supposed to actually.
So we'll see but either way, their center position is clearly their weakness. If Gordon Hayward, so he'll be over a year now since breaking that ankle. And you look at what Paul George, how long it took him to come back after he broke his leg. He could be legit all-star candidate again, especially in the East right now, man, with all the guys that have left.
What is he, small forward, power forward?
He's listed as a small forward, but so they go by guard and then two guard spots, 2 forward spots. There are 3 forward spots, right? With no designated center. So, who are the other forwards in the East that you're competing against?
Giannis,
Embiid, Horford. Trying to think of the other teams are Heat. So Jimmy Butler will be listed as a forward. Think so? I thought he was listed as small forward.
I thought it was 2 guard.
I think he can play either. It'd be interesting to see what he's listed at. I think he'll be listed as small forward. That's what he was for the 76ers. Well, no, I guess they pushed him to the shooting guard after they got Tobias Harris.
I always think of him as a 2-guard.
So yeah, I guess he was I guess the Bulls with D Rose.
Who was it last year?
You got the Celtics guys.
Vucevic.
Gordon Hayward's gonna be fighting Jason Tatum for
Right.
guard for forward spots. Yeah, Vucevic he made the All-Star team for Orlando.
Aaron Gordon's pretty good. Maybe he'll do better.
Yeah, but he doesn't have LeBron, Kawhi. I mean, KD won't be competing with
KD doesn't
anybody.
count.
Paul George. I mean, the West is definitely loaded. So who knows? Gordon Hayward could be an All-Star again. This team, and I mean, they also still have all their tons of draft picks from different teams. So Bill Simmons still is optimistic, thinks they can make a trade, but I just don't know who they would be able to trade for that would turn them into a contender in the East. Another top East team would be then Indy. I mean, I guess Toronto is still going to be good. They're still probably going to be 50-win team maybe,
Should be
without
top
Kawhi.
5.
Their record without him last year was crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have a whole bunch of old players who are on last year's of their deal. So, but the Indianapolis Pacers added Malcolm Brogdon. They'll have Oladipo back from injury. They still made the playoffs without Oladipo, right?
Yep.
They also added T.J. McConnell. That's about it. This list has them playing. Well, Oladipo's listed as a fourth-string shooting guard. I don't think they ever started like this with Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner both starting.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, they added T.J. McConnell and T.J. Warren and
T.J. Warren.
Malcolm Brogdon. Right now they have Jeremy Lamb listed as starting, but Oladipo will obviously be in that spot. I don't love that bench, though, if you really do start it this way. They probably just move them down. Put Lamb at shooting guard, Lamb at small forward, Warren at power forward, and bring Domantas Sabonis off the bench when Oladipo comes back. But your bench is like T.J. McConnell, Doug McDermott,
Dougie Buckets.
Goga Bitadze.
He's the one that was left in the green room forever.
Goga?
I know, not left in the green room. He's the one.
Was.
He's the one that was next to Zion on press day, and nobody was talking to him.
Oh, really? They don't even have a picture of him in here. So, Indiana's gonna be good. I don't think they're still not gonna be a contender. They could have a better record than the Celtics pretty easily though.
They almost did last year.
So you're looking at the same top 5 this year for the East. No one changed that much. 76ers changed the most, but on an overall talent level, they're probably about the same, but probably with a better fit.
Still the same as the Bucks, though. They're not above the Bucks, I don't think.
I think they could be. I think talent-wise, they are more talented than the Bucks, and now they'll have a full year to play together as opposed to adding players as they went last year.
That's true.
And if they can keep Embiid healthy, because in the playoffs he was like, when he played, they were better than everybody.
I've heard he doesn't have the drive to stay in shape or to actually get in shape in the first place.
Yeah, we've never seen videos come out of him like working out or eating healthy.
No, he's all about eating junk and shit. Playing Fortnite all night long.
I mean, so was Shaq, but Shaq started in really good shape. He came out of college.
Ben
just
Simmons isn't Kobe.
ripped. Ben Simmons. Oh well, and there's questions whether him and Ben Simmons really should play together going forward. But they signed them both to long extensions, so
Yeah.
unless they decide to trade Ben Simmons, I think we hit everyone that I showed up on. I wrote down as far as adding big time players. I don't even want to make a prediction. Like, I just want to see what's going to happen.
It's a little early on that one. Like football, at least preseason starts next week.
Yeah. I think it'd be just as hard to predict this as it was trying to do the NFL one as far as who's going to be there. I think you got what the league has not had in a long time, which is true parity. There's probably 3 or 4 teams in the East that could end up coming out of it, and like 6, 7, maybe 8 teams in the West that could.
This is the ideal time for a new NBA Jam because there's so many good twofers.
Duos. Oh my God, yeah, the duos. Just going through the teams that are listed here: Lakers with AD and LeBron, Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George, Rockets with Westbrook and Harden,
That one would be lethal.
the Nets with Kyrie. Did we even talk about the Nets?
A little bit. Kyrie and KD.
KD won't play. Kyrie, I don't know if that's much of an improvement over D'Angelo Russell.
It is. Russell's not that good.
But how much? I don't know. We'll see. But they're not going to be good contenders this year. But yeah, that would be a good duo. The Heat is so far it's just Jimmy Butler. Could be him and Paul George. I mean, with Chris Paul. Thunder don't have a duo. Warriors still have Curry and Clay, or Curry and Draymond, or Clay and Draymond, however you want to. I think in NBA Jam you'd probably go with Curry and Clay.
Thunder,
go
could
offense.
You could run CP and Steven Adams.
That would be interesting. It's Adams, the guy most feared, or the guy you least wanted to get in a fight with. I think he got voted last year. Celtics, you don't really have a big two. I mean, would you go Kemba and Tatum or Kemba and Hayward?
Kemba and Tatum is what they'd hope for, but
That'd be video game wise. That'd probably be the best one.
I'd go Hayward and Tatum, or Hayward and Kemba if I'm playing video games.
Hayward and Kemba.
I think they'll have the most established stats.
I just feel like Tatum. Well, if Hayward gets his athleticism back, man, people forget he was a super athletic. That's why he was one of the first small ball fours.
Yeah, he got hurt on it. Alley-oop.
Yeah. He was actually a pretty big dunker. 76ers, you got Ben Simmons and Embiid, or Tobias Harris in the mix in there. Utah, Conley and Spida Mitchell. That wouldn't be a very, I don't know, video game-wise, I don't know if that's great.
Too small.
Conley's not very fast anymore.
Maybe you could have Mitchell and Gobert, because you can have Gobert protect.
Indy would be an interesting one. And actually, it kind of makes, now that I think about it like this, I think Indy might be even better than I think, because you got Oladipo. Miles Turner is super athletic. He'd be a great pick-and-roll guy on NBA Jam and a good shot blocker, rebounder. You also have Domantas Sabonis, not a high flyer, but good player.
Solid.
Brogdon. Just have a lot of guys who are like A- to B-, which is good. I mean, to have 4 or 5 of those guys is...
It's hard to get the A+.
That's what made the Clippers so good last year. Is they just had a whole bunch of B+ guys that played well together and bought into Doc's system, and now they just added 2 A+ guys. That's why I think the Thunder still might be good. They still have 6-7 solid NBA guys who are good enough to start on teams.
Yeah, borderline all-stars. A couple of them.
Yeah, Adams and Gallinari, CP3 right now, Shea. Everyone loves Shea from last year. He wasn't even a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Mm-mm.
That I ever
just
heard.
said that he didn't make the mistakes that most rookies do.
Yeah, he says kind of like Doncic. He just already looks like he's in command and knows what he's doing. And
Even Doncic and Porzingis could be a good NBA.
Oh
team.
yeah, I didn't even have them listed down here because we didn't. I forgot actually mostly. I didn't really think about them adding Porzingis as a big thing, but it happened so long ago and it happened so quick.
Even the Kings with who they have, Fox, and they got somebody else, don't they?
I mean, if you go on rookies, they got
Fox and Hield.
Who's the Hield 3-point shooter? Who's the dude from Duke that they got drafted? Was a rookie last year.
It wasn't RJ and it wasn't Zion. It was the other guy, Cam Barrett.
No. The one that actually was a rookie for them last year. He got drafted from Duke the year before. He was the number 2 pick that people were like, really?
Oh, the guy.
Baggins?
Bagley.
Marvin Bagley. They're mostly young players. They also have the ex-Warrior who signed a big deal there.
Barnes?
Yeah, he opted out and then signed a bigger deal, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he opted out. It was like $25 million.
I know, but then they gave him more money, so.
That's going to be interesting if they can make it, because it just got harder for them to get that 8 spot in the West.
They were close last year.
Yeah, but all of a sudden the West got even deeper. I mean, the Warriors went from the best team to like 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
You saw the Spurs going to be fighting for that 7th and 8th spot.
It sucks for them because the Lakers are going to be good now.
God, I want to... What is the... Looking at the standings here and just see how much of this is going to change.
We didn't even talk about New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, New Orleans got... I'd have to go back to the roster, but they obviously got Zion. They got...
So, B.I.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Lonzo Ball.
Josh Hart.
But who? Ingram.
Yeah,
Brandon Ingram, that was B.I. They had some veterans too, right? But let's see. Here's the 8 playoff teams from last year. Warriors, Nuggets, Trailblazers, Rockets, Jazz, Thunder, Spurs, Clippers. So good chance the Thunder Spurs, and Warriors will be fighting with the Mavericks and Kings for those last 2 spots. And you still have to push the Lakers up into there, most likely. So you're looking at 8, 9, 10, 11 teams really fighting for 8 spots. Pelicans, who knows? Timberwolves,
Still have Cat.
Memphis, I don't know. They got another young point guard. They drafted a young point guard, and then
John
Jaren
Morant.
Jackson Jr. Oh, John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. That'd be a fun duo.
Jackson looked good.
Jackson was one of the more matured rookies last year, as far as he's a big man who.
Jackson Hayes or something.
Huh? No, Jaren Jackson Jr. Oh, they got Hayes. He was a high draft pick too, right? Yeah, it's gonna be about 12 teams fighting
they got
for
a
those
guy
8
with-
spots.
3 names that's supposed to be really good that I can't remember right now.
A guy with 3 names who's
Yeah.
supposed to be really good.
KOC and Vernon have been. just
Well, they have
ranting
John
about it.
Morant. They picked up Josh Jackson, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jonas Valanciunas. They also have Miles Plumlee, Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala, Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones. I don't see a 3-name guy. Brandon Clark, who just got the Summer League MVP and played for
Steal of the
Gonzaga.
draft.
He's the one everyone's like, wow, he should have been the first Gonzaga player drafted, not...
I thought he was good before the draft, but
The other dude is like, he was like the Rudy Gay type. They're like, this guy's, his ceiling is so much higher because he's taller and more athletic.
Rui Hachimura.
Yeah. But
He's supposed to
no,
be
the
like-
West is going to be interesting. Like I said, you're going to have good teams fighting for those last spots in the Thunder, Spurs. Dallas could be good. We don't know. They also had such turnover. They traded away so many guys last year. But yeah, hopefully we'll do another pod to make a prediction on later. We got a while.
Yeah, it doesn't start till like October.
It's going to be fun. Since without KD playing, I'm definitely going to be paying attention just openly and just out of curiosity with everybody else.
Should we make a venture?
Huh?
Should we make a venture down to the Rose City and see a game?
Portland?
Yeah.
We should. We talk about it every year. Maybe doing it. I'm trying to think of who would be a good... it'd be fun to go with the Warriors, actually. Try to get Clay's autograph on my jersey. They have to play there at some point, right? I should look that up, yeah.
They play in the same division.
Warriors, Lakers, maybe do a few.
Go visit Wilder.
Yeah, he's got a big house now.
Yeah, he does.
Jared, we're going to come stay in your... we assume you have like a pool house that we can stay in. If not, you can just start on that now. I'm sure you can have it ready.
Oh, you're
in 6
second.
months.
Yeah, he's got 2 houses.
No, that would be great to go down there for a game. Like I said, I didn't automatically become a Blazers fan just because they became the new closest NBA franchise to us. But it kind of would be good. The timing would have been right.
hmm
I mean,
They're fun to watch.
yeah, they're just never quite good enough.
Can't not root for Dame.
It's weird for them to get swept by a bad Pelicans team one year and then make it to the conference finals the next.
It's really weird.
I mean, they were lucky they didn't have to play the Rockets or Warriors till the conference championship.
But even the Nuggets had home court advantage, and they still beat them.
And had arguably the best player on the court. If you were, I think most people, if you were asking them who the best guy was, it'd been the Joker, not Dame. But Dame has just
Dame looked like shit.
he's that guy who hits the big shots.
What's that guy's name? McCollum carried him for most of the second round.
That's the nice thing about having those two guys is you don't really need both of them to be on to win. As long as at least one of them is, you've got a chance you're going to be in the game.
Yeah.
Because there was one game where McCollum carried him like the whole game, but then in the fourth quarter, Dame took over and hit the big shots and finished it. Well, I got nothing else.
Neither do I.
I mean, I guess the last thing is we do like you. We kind of talked about it in the beginning with all the player movement. Is it more fun?
I think so. For the basketball, it keeps it spicy.
I think if every offseason was this way with the NBA, even the NFL with the trades, because I didn't see those coming, I don't think I'd like it every year. I don't like it when the offseason becomes better, more entertaining than actual games.
That's basically basketball nowadays, though.
I don't know. That's why NBA is a 24-hour-a-day, 365-day sport, is all the social media stuff, all the drama, the trades. They start looking where guys might want to play when they have 2-3 years left on their deal.
Yeah, and put the
And
bug in
anytime-
there.
Yeah, and anytime you have an all-star level looking player on a bad team, it's you think, are they asking for a trade? Should they trade them? Should they start over? Should
How
they-
long till they're on the Lakers?
Why does everyone have to play for the Lakers?
That's just how it goes.
But all right. Well, hopefully our next episode we'll have a friend, which
We
means
can-
hopefully we won't be so lazy to schedule a friend because we have people that have always say they'll do it.
The easiest one would be Petty, but he's on night shift.
Yeah, that makes it not easy.
But he lives like right down the road.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Darren's even working yet. He was always said he'd be down to always do one.
Shit. Gotta.
And maybe next time we'll have something worth saying in updates before we start jumping into other stuff. I didn't even bring it up because I was like, I had nothing.
I was wondering about that.
Jump
got-
right to stuff.
Poor old Nico had to go to the hospital.
Oh,
today.
yeah, that's right. Did
Doing
she
a-
find out
Not
anything?
yet.
She said she was hoping today, right? That's what she posted. So, yeah, Lori's dog Nico has had health issues for a little while. They've
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they did tests, regular vet tests and got nothing. And so now they went to like a specialist, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully she's saving money being in the vet industry. But 'cause that shit gets
She has-
expensive.
Yeah, she has insurance, but it doesn't cover everything. So it's
Yeah,
still-
get your pet insurance, man, if you want to be able to afford to try and keep them healthy.
He had a CT scan today.
So we're hoping she can still afford to come down and visit next month. But totally understandable.
She's had to spend like
About-
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, definitely understandable saving money, especially with the bigger picture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys paid that $500 for the petition yet?
Mm-mm. We couldn't file it because I had warrants. And
Oh.
now those are finally gonna get taken care of.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, Lori, if you made it this far through sports, we would love to see you, and we know you'd love to see us. Maybe you'd like to see Ricky too, but we get it. If financially doesn't work right now, don't force it.
That's what we're thinking now. Sucks, but
Yeah, you got to think of the big picture. Long road. My shit's all the same. Still play some games on my get rich slow scheme. I had
Not
like
rich
$40 in gift cards that went toward sliders for summer.
nice.
For those of you who don't know, sliders are the sandals where it's just like one strap across the top of your foot.
The ones that aren't thongs.
The one that basketball players always use before they, because they're going to change into their basketball shoes. Some of it went toward the headphones I got for work.
Nice.
They love me at work. I've been training new guys. It's not all that much fun.
No, training
Actually
is never
means
fun.
I'm standing around more waiting to do stuff.
That sucks.
So like I'll prep for, the schedule coming up, what we know is coming, and then I'll start breaking people out. So send people to break one at a time, and I cover their spot. So I cover all the spots, even bundle cut, which is, I don't like jumping in on bundle cut. It's one of those things you want to be in like the flow, like just be on it all the time. But jumping in, like where you at? Okay, I think we're good, and I think I understand your marks, and I got nothing else really.
Nope.
That's why I didn't bring it up beforehand. It's sad. I should probably start looking to move out my parents' house. Now that I got some money saved up, I could probably actually afford first month and deposit.
Nice. You don't have any pets,
No, sadly.
but then you want a pet.
I'd like a pet, but I don't know how that works with a 12-hour shift.
Yeah, that's tough. You'd have to have an established pet. You couldn't get like a pup.
No, and that's even that. I'd feel bad for it because it's basically with commute, 13 hours of stuck in the house by yourself.
Yeah, that would suck.
And I'd rather get a pup or a kitten. I could do cat, I guess. I like cats.
You could definitely have a cat.
That thing better learn to use the box. I mean, it's so pissed, come back smelling
Cat piss everywhere.
pee spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're listening, going to the Mariners game August 11th for Edgar Hall of Fame weekend. That's the Sunday day game. It's like 1 p.m. Don't know who else will be there. I assume there'll be other people there, though.
Usually,
I don't know if I'll know any of them.
Usually there's
you know.
other people there.
I assume the stadium's going to be pretty much sold out that game. I don't know what the giveaway is. Like,
Did you get like bleacher seats or what?
Oh, yeah.
I could probably. Well, if Lori's not gonna come, then I'll have money to be able to go with you.
No, I just got bleacher seats. They're like $30 or something because it's more that day. And then I'll just stand somewhere. So there's Edgar's Cantina or out in center field or above the bullpens. I usually stand one of those places close to a bar.
Going to the gorge. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I guess I might end up going with you guys on that. I don't know.
It's just me and Satori.
Is it just you and Satori now?
Yeah.
You guys already got a camping spot?
He bought camping, so you could ride in the same car and we could just, or you could drive but then you'd have to buy a camping.
Oh, because if you have a second car and
Second
one car
vehicle,
per.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll see with you guys now. I'm not working that weekend, so I can wait and figure it out then, or figure it out closer.
Tickets are still on sale, yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up not that long ago to see. And they're not going to change much in price. The gorge is fun though, and I got that whole weekend off. It's my birthday weekend.
Party time.
Don't know what else is going on. I like to keep
Make
my
Corey
options
come
open.
with us.
Should.
Haven't talked to him since our podcast.
We might be able to really. We might be able to get like him and Kira, or somebody else might want to come. I got a tent. I got all that stuff. I'm an adult. I didn't have
I'm
a
an
shit till
adult
like
ready to be
last year.
homeless.
I bought like a tent and stuff last year because I really didn't have my own stuff for that.
I got mine from my mom because they had a trailer that they used.
Yeah, I just used my parents' old camping shit.
Yep.
But the gorge, you don't even need to like food and stuff, like, you know, a cooler to keep your drinks cold.
Especially if it's only one night.
Yeah, and they got. Well, I don't know what time they close the thing out, but
They
have stuff down there to.
There's a concert this
Get-
day and a concert the next day. Sucks.
Really? They have
Yeah.
concerts back to back days, but they're whole different.
Different people.
So they probably kick you out nice and early.
Probably.
All right, well, yeah, that's where we'll be in August. That's August 9th, Mumford & Sons concert at the Gorge. August 11th, Mariners game. If you go, let me know. I'll post on Facebook again to remind people, and hopefully more than 2 people respond.
Probably not though.
Or I'll just sit at the Mariners game in the outfield crying, and people will be looking at me like, why is that kid crying? Why is that guy crying?
It's his birthday. He's got a birthday hat on. Why is he crying?
Nah. There was a bachelor party last time I went to the Mariners game. This guy was wearing like a pink sash.
Nice.
It was like, all right. We were in Edgar's Cantina. That's like the only place you can get. Well, there, and then there's like a distillery at the end where you can get like liquor.
Yeah. BSB.
Yeah, right. I think that's what they have most of. But they have a distillery that has. Is that just a BSB distillery? But they have different kinds of whiskey and stuff.
Heritage.
I don't know.
That's what makes BSB.
Oh, good to know. Not really. I forget that as soon as I leave here. All right. Well, we made another episode.
Don't expect many more.
I wonder what we decided to edit into the intro. I guess we'll find out when we do it.
What? Been a long time. Shouldn't left.
I know,
you
it's something like that, right?
without a dope beat. They say that on Jalen Jacoby too much though.
Do they? Yeah, but our listeners, we're not gonna have like
No crossover listeners.
I don't like 2.
I love Jalen
Jared
and Jacoby.
Johnson might listen to Jalen and Kobe. Who else? Hook
Shit.
won't.
Everybody that comes in the store has to listen to it because I'm always listening to Jalen Jacoby.
Nice. Hook only listens to Pro Saints podcast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's all he listens to these days. I'd be surprised if he even made it this far. As soon as we hit NBA, he was probably like, "Peace."
Storm Area 51.
Storm. I still haven't joined the group. Still debating. Not really sure I want to get onto the anti-fly lists by
I'm in the
joining
group.
that stupid Facebook group.
Why not? 1 million people.
It's got like 1.5 million. I think they're close to 2 million now. Oh man, yeah. If you want to storm Area 51, honestly, if you have some weird or unique hobbies or anything, let us know. We'll try to do these more if people have stuff they want to talk about.
Corey, you're in the Air Force. It's Air Force. It's an Air
Corey.
Force base. Get us in Area 51.
Let us know
Single-handedly.
any secret tunnels or anything that you know about, or if you can even just lend your was it ghillie suit? Is that what they're called? Those sniper suits.
Yeah.
We need a desert ghillie suit
Some active camouflage. Anybody know any spells?
and enough water to last me like 3 days because that's gonna be a long crawl.
Who's in there? Harry Potter. Where's the invisibility cloak?
I'm into Harry Potter. No idea. They're doing a Harry Potter trivia in Mount Vernon someday. I
know
don't
nothing
remember
of it.
when, but it's all specifically the 6th book, Order of the Phoenix. I should go and win.
Should.
If you know of any cornhole tournaments, let me know. And if you want to be my partner, let me know.
Oh.
I wish I could just walk back and forth and do both sides myself.
If you want to be my partner and take on Veg, then let me know.
All right. Well, like I always say, for the second time, keep your friends close and your fair weather friends closer.
Hey.